Hi there, welcome to Tired Old Queen at the Movies. Please subscribe if you haven't, hit that like button if you enjoy the video. There is some great movie merch below. And now let's go see the Tired Old Queen at the Movies, Steve Hayes.
Now, Bixler, I thought you'd never get here. Why don't you come on in? Don't sit down there outside, you're going to be blacklisted. Even worse, come on in. Really.
Oh, Johnny! Oh, this is a movie that I have wanted to do for such a long, long time. Ronald Neame's film version of Enid Bagnold's The Chalk Garden, starring Deborah Kerr, Hayley Mills, John Mills, and the incomparable Dame Edith Evans. This was based on a play by Enid Bagnold. The screenplay was by John Michael Hayes, who you'll remember he did Rear Window. He also did To Catch a Thief for Hitchcock and The Trouble with Harry. He did Peyton Place. He was just one of the foremost screenwriters at that time, and he was able to take books and plays and really get them down cinematically to their basic level and really streamline them. Now, the story of this goes like this. There is an old dowager, played by Edith Evans, who hires a mysterious stranger, played by Deborah Kerr, to be the governess for her unruly and sort of mentally disturbed granddaughter, played by Hayley Mills.
That sounds like a perfect description of me.
The problem with Laurel is that her mother is getting remarried. And Deborah Kerr says, and the child is jealous that her mother has a sex life again. And she says, precisely.
She's so overloaded with sex that it sparkles.
I'll take the job. She goes, good, I guess. I love gardening. Do you love gardening? Deborah Kerr says, well, yes. And she says, well, my garden is dying. I don't know what to do. I feel when my garden dies, I feel like an old friend of mine has died. I don't know what to do about it. And Deborah Kerr says, well, you're using the wrong soil, and you put in the sunlight at the wrong time. She knows everything about gardening, so automatically Edith Evans says, you've got the job.
Thank you. But I warn you, Laurel is mine. If she goes back to her mother, you are dismissed immediately.
Well, Hayley Mills, who's the granddaughter, her main thing is to get rid of governesses. She's gone through a slew of them, so she just makes life miserable for Deborah Kerr.
That's my daughter's child, the Laurel. She's so fond of screaming.
And Deborah Kerr is unflappable.
What a lovely spot. Is this where the shark ate the governess?
Somewhere along here.
And she's funny and fun and wise and logical. And the butler, Maitland, who has been there for a long time and has been Edith Evans' right-hand man, sees Deborah Kerr and helps her along. Between the two of them, they're trying to get the girl to come around and admit why she acts the way that she has.
How dare you open my door without knocking?
I did knock, Laurel. You forgot your milk.
And how did this thing get in here? I told you to get rid of all my old dolls.
She also has a secret, and Hayley Mills is determined to break down Miss Madrigal and find out what her secret is.
Apparently, I forgot this one.
It's that new governess, that Miss Madrigal. She's the one. She slipped it in here. Trying to soften me, trying to break me down. But I don't break, I don't crack. I'm hard.
Well, Hayley Mills' mother, who is Edith Evans' daughter, wants custody of her daughter back. So Edith and her daughter are going to go to court about this. So she calls in her old friend and lover, the Judge McQuilly, played by Felix Alma. You know, Felix Alma. He was in Separate Tables. We saw him in Separate Tables. And he's an old judge, and he comes to lunch, and Deborah Kerr sees him and has a complete meltdown.
She broke the glass.
I'm sorry.
And everything changes. That's where I'm going to leave it for you. When this play was done, it was originally written, the Dowager was written for Edith Evans. She's one of the great stage actresses. You probably remember her best in The Importance of Being Earnest. She was the magnificent, magnificent Lady Bracknell. You expect of any my daughter, I expect a man of your age to either know everything or nothing. What do you know? He goes, well, I know nothing, Lady Bracknell. She goes, good. There's no substitute for natural ignorance. It should blossom like a flower. Touch it, and the bloom is gone. She was just a wonderful stage actress. She didn't do a lot of films. She did The Last Days of Dolwyn, and she did Queen of Spades, which weren't big over here necessarily. Then she did Look Back in Anger and The Nun's Story, which she had a nice part, but nothing. And then she did Tom Jones. And she played this wonderful woman, Tom Jones, who slaps a rooster across the face. It's great. She's so funny. And she got an Oscar nomination. So she heard that they were doing The Chalk Garden as a film. And she found out Ross Hunter, the old queen, was going to be producing it. And he was in London on business. And he had seen Gladys Cooper do it on Broadway and was about to cast her. She took him to lunch at Claridge's, and she talked him out of it, and she got the role, much to Gladys Cooper's consternation. And ironically, the next year she was nominated for the Oscar for Supporting Actress, and so was Gladys Cooper nominated for playing Mrs. Higgins in My Fair Lady.
That's quite enough, Laurel. You've gone too far.
It didn't matter, really. They both lost to Lila Kadrova for Zorba the Greek. Deborah Kerr had been an incandescent star, both in Great Britain and here. We saw her in Black Narcissus. We saw her in Separate Tables. We saw her magnificently sexy in From Here to Eternity. Hollywood always took her for granted because she made it look too easy, like Cary Grant. She just made it look too easy. So she never got her Oscar. She got 6 nominations. She and Thelma Ritter were tied for the most nominations and no win, and now Glenn Close-Up is there. You know, she's got like 8 now. Poor Glenn. But they did give her a special Oscar, and coincidentally, Glenn Close gave her that special Oscar. But, you know, like all those things, it's too little and too late. But this was the last year that Deborah made important movies. She did 3 in one year. She did John Huston's version of Tennessee Williams' The Night of the Iguana with Richard Burton and Ava Gardner. She did Jack Clayton's version of Henry James' The Turn of the Screw called The Innocents. Wonderful ghost story. So great. And she did this. I love her in this. Hayley Mills was the queen of the lot at Disney. She had done a movie called Tiger Bay when she was like 12 with her father, John Mills. And the Disney people saw it, and Walt Disney liked it. He brought her over, he put her in Pollyanna, and her career was off and flying. She won a special Oscar, and then she was in a succession of Disney films. Parent Trap, and In Search of the Castaways, and The Moon Spinners, and, you know, and then she was trying to break that. So she did this. She was in like 15 years old, and she did this and The Trouble with Angels around the same time, and that kind of started to break her image. And then she got married, and she sort of let acting go for a while and then went back to it. But she was just a delightful screen presence for kids in the 60s. And Ronald Neame, he was able to really bring out performances in his films, as he did with Maggie Smith and Jean Brodie. He did it with all 3 of the women in this movie. It's literate, it's funny, it's got such heart. And when the last line comes, which is given by Edith Evans, you're just going to smile. I think you're going to love Deborah Kerr, John Mills, Hayley Mills, and the incomparable Edith Evans in Ronald Neame's The Chalk Garden. Let's all go to the... Oh, brother! Oh, brother! Stop that! Oh, brother! She goes... I keeps on going, just slaps the chicken across the face. He never pressed charges either. That was a good chicken.